When the sky was getting darker.
When the sky was getting darker, and Maddie and Nan and Felix and Madeline and Jono all got into the vehicle to drive to
Washington and catching mayor again.
To drive to Washington to catch the mayor again.
To watch us a big show.
And watch us a big show. And Maddie said, packed.
And then as we get there.
And
where John is saying.
Don't
get out of this yet.
Don't get out of the car yet.
That we can join.
And then that we can join all of the moms.
So you can join the whole crowd, including.
So you can join the whole crowd, including Mom.
All of the rest of your packed of louder.
All of the rest of your packed of moms, babies, infants, children, kids, brothers, sisters, dads, grandmas, grandpas, grandsons, granddaughters, aunts, uncles, nieces, nephews, cousins, friends, pals, neighbors, Scrooges, hairdressers, firefighters, police officers, EMTs, Home Depots, Lowe's, BKs,
and
your African Americans.
Okay, with all of the pack of your whole pets.
And all of the whole pack of all of your pets, including cats, dogs, kittens, and puppies.
And even all of the candy girls and candy boys.
And even all of the candy girls and candy boys.
All of the 90s, all of the 2000s.
All of the 90s, all of the 2000s.
All of the 80s.
80s.
All of the 70s.
All of the 70s.
All of the 60s.
All of the 60s.
All of the 50s and 40s and
all
30s.
Of the 50s and 40s and 30s and 20s.
And even all of the rolling
20s.
And even all of the even all of the whole everyone nations.
And even all of the everyone nations.
From all gather around.
All gather around to watch a show and to catch the mayor again.
And then when Maddie got caught saying bad words. And then the first pop of the sparkling in the sky.
And the first pop of the sparkling in the sky.
And everyone was cheered and wildly.
And
she threw their caves.
And they threw their canes up in the air. And they threw their walkers up in the air. And they threw their wheelchairs up in the air. And they their walking sticks up in the air. And they throw their aprons up in the air. And they throw their bow ties up in the air. And they throw their scarves up in the air. And they throw their ascots up in the air. And they throw their suspenders up in the air.
And she throws her
And she throws her
buns.
buns up in the air.
And she throws her,
And she throws her
yeah.
cheeseburgers up in the air.
Yay!
Yay! Free cheeseburgers! And she throws her fries up in the air. And she throws her milkshakes up in the air. And the crowd is saying, yay! Free meal and dessert! Woo!
And the second round of the sparkling in the sky.
And the second round of the sparkling in the sky.
The first pop of the second pop of the
second
first pop of the giant popping in the sky.
The first pop is the giant popping in the sky.
And Maddie starts getting completely wild.
And Minnie starts getting completely wild. And she loses all control. And she's jumping up and down and dancing and screaming, woo! And recording the whole show. Woo!
And they throw.
And they throw.
And then the second and third round of the. And Maddie tells you, what's your name?
And the second and third round, and Maddie tells you, what's your name? It's Anthony. And what's your name? It's Steven. And what's your name? It's...
And he was a friendly.
And he was a friendly.
And they went in and searched the home and were able to determine that he was hiding up in the attic.
He was given an opportunity
Then,
to surrender
But she's third popping in the sky.
and the third popping in the sky.
But she's scared the baby.
But she scared the baby. Whee!
All the infants are starting to
And all the infants are starting
rolling
to cry.
20s.
And the rolling 20 infants are starting to cry, especially the higher. Whee! 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 And the moms and dads tell the baby, it's okay, baby. Don't cry. It's just the sparkling in the sky. And then the baby
Lady
goes.
starts continue crying.
And the baby continues crying. Whee!
And Maddie tells you, wiggle.
And Maddie tells you, wiggle. And the baby starts to laugh. Goo goo gaga.
And then, but the fourth round,
But the fourth round of the
the seventh round of the sparkling in the sky,
But the seventh round of sparkling in the sky.
all of the childhood was scared, especially the higher.
All the childhood was scared, especially the higher. Oh, Mom, I'm so scared. And the mom tells you, oh, don't be scared, little one. It's just the sparkling in the sky. Go on, look at all the beautiful colors. And then the little ones say, wow, cool, yay!
And the sixth round of the sparkling in the sky,
And the
and
sixth
Maddie
round
tells
of the
you
sparkling
can't be
sky.
tricks.
And Maddie tells you can't be tricks.
And then we saw, and Maddie tells you, hey, world.
And Maddie tells you, Ed's World.
And then
And then
the sparkling in the sky was a neon.
the sparkling in the sky was a neon.
A space.
A spaceship. And the crowd said, whoa, what is it?
And the Home Depot grabs their ladders, and the mayor opens the door.
And the Home
And
Depot grabs the ladder
Home
and the
Depot
mayor.
climbs up into stage,
And the Home Depot
and he
climbs
grabs
up
her
the stage.
microphone and he says,
And he grabs a microphone and he says,
Check 1, 2, 3.
Check 1, 2, 3. Check 1, 2, 3. Hello, everyone.
Maddie and everyone tells you,
And everyone tells you,
yay!
yay! Woo!
And the mayor said,
And the mayor said,
hello, everyone.
hello, everyone. And how are you enjoying this wonderful show? Are you having fun?
Yeah, it was great.
Yay! It was great! Woohoo!
And then the mayor said, are you
are you ready?
for the biggest?
For the biggest, grandest, most amazing, grandest of the finales ever!
And everyone said,
And everyone says,
yes, we are.
yes, we are! Woo! Bring it on! Yay! Woo!
But the final finale starts so powerful.
But the final finale starts and it's so powerful that you can feel the booms in your chest. Boom! Boom!
Heather is in my heart, and I'll keep in touch with Heather.
Yes.
I'm glad I got to see you again.
Love you. Bye. Then
I think
the mayor says,
situation
"Oh."
is just being the ability to be the voice for the missing. Everybody has a story, and it's no matter what life throws at us, no matter what obstacles, we're all fighters. And we all have the ability to keep going. I turned my fear into courage. I got my family back.
And then the mayor says,
And then, so you can boom in your chest and the whole crowd totally loses it.
so you can feel the boom in your chest. Boom!
Louder, even louder. And everyone, the whole crowd totally loses it.
And the whole crowd totally loses it. And they start jumping up and down and screaming all around. Woo!
And they throw
And they throw
heads off in the air.
heads off in the air. Woo!
Grandparents totally lose it.
And the
Grandparents totally.
grandparents totally loses it. And they throw their canes up in the air. And they throw their walkers up in the air. And they throw their wheelchairs up in the air. And they throw their walking sticks up in the air. And they throw their bow ties up in the air. And they throw their ascots up in the air. And they throw their scarves up in the air. And they throw their suspenders up in the air. And they throw their aprons up in the air. Woo! And they start boogie down to the
And
log.
they throw their glasses up in the air.
And they
throw their hats
glasses
up in the air.
And they throw their hats up in the air.
And she's starting to.
And they start to boogie down to the lucky sound.
And the
Woo!
children totally loses it.
And the children totally loses it. And they start to jump up and down and
And
screaming.
running all over the place.
And they're
And jumping
running
around all over the
and
place.
jumping around all over
Somersaults.
the place and doing somersaults.
And they throw their belt bottoms up in the
And
air.
they throw their bell bottoms up in the air.
And they throw their bows up in the air.
And they throw their bows up in the air.
And they throw their caps up in the
And they
air.
throw their caps up in the air.
And they throw their pants jacket up in the air.
And they throw their pants jacket up in the air.
And they throw their
And they throw their
sneakers.
sneakers up in the air.
And they throw their bracelet up in the air.
And they throw their bracelets up in the air.
And they throw their overall up in the air.
And they throw their overalls up in the air.
they throw their dress up in the air.
And they throw their dress up in the air.
And they throw their ponytails up in the air.
And they throw their ponytails up in the air.
And she started to run and doing their somersaults and say, "Yay!"
And they start to run and doing their somersaults and say, "Yay!"
And the dogs and the cats totally loses it.
And the dogs and the cats totally lose it. And they're running all around. And the cats are climbing the trees. Woo!
And she started barking.
And the dogs start barking. And the cats are meowing and screeching. Yay!
And the Home Depot totally loses it.
And the Home Depot totally lose it. And they throw their aprons up in the air. And they throw their notepads up in the air. And they throw their measuring tapes up in the air. And they throw their drills up in the air. Ah! And they throw their orange buckets up in the air. And they throw their lawnmowers up in the air. Ah!
Fireworks and
Then
picnics and things that more of a smaller
Yeah.
town has.
It's a celebration.
They throw their orange
And they throw their orange
bucket.
buckets up in the air. Woo! What a show! Woo! And the hairdresser totally loses it. As she throws her apron up in the air. As she throws her scissors up in the air. As she throws the clippers up in the air. As she throws the hair cutter up in the air. As she starts to jump up and down. Yay! Woo! As she throws her moose up in the air. As she throws her hairspray up in the air. And she starts to jump and down and scream and shout. Yay! Best show ever!
And then BK totally loses it. We're so excited.
And the BK totally loses it. When they're so excited. And they throw the buns up in the air. And they throw the burgers up in the air. And they throw the fries up in the air. And they throw the chicken nuggets up in the air. And they throw the milkshakes up in the air. And the crowd loves it. And they start screaming and shouting.
And they throw their
"Yay,
sodas
free
up in the
food!"
air.
And they threw the sodas up in the air. Yay, free food, drinks, and dessert.
And oh my goodness.
And oh my goodness, they even threw their spatulas up in the air. Woo! Yay!
They throw their wop.
And they throw their whoppers up in the air. Woo! Because yay, free whoppers! I love whoppers!
And they throw their...
And they throw their...
And the cops and fire department totally loses it.
And the cops and fire departments totally loses it. And they throw their batons up in the air. And they throw their handcuffs up in the air. And they throw their hats up in the air. And they throw their guns up in the air. And they throw their badges up in the air. Woo!
When I turned around, he put a knife to my throat.
And the firefighters were so excited.
And the firefighters were so excited that they threw their caps up in the air. And they threw their air tanks up in the air. And they threw their water hose up in the air. And everybody's getting wet. And they threw their walkie-talkies up in the air. Woo! And they start to jump up and down and scream and shout.
And oh my goodness.
And oh my goodness, they even threw the truck up in the air. Woo!
Your ice cream truck has been spoiled.
Your ice cream truck has been spoiled.
This one?
This one, yeah, baby. That one's spoiled milk. No, yucky, gross.
And the ice cream totally loses it.
And the ice cream truck totally loses it. And the driver starts to throw ice creams up in the air.
And they throw their pops up in the air.
And they throw their pops up in the air.
And they throw their coats up in the air.
And they throw their cones up in the air.
And they throw their frosty up in the air.
And they throw their frosties up in the
And
air.
they throw their rocket pop up in the air.
And they throw their rocket pop up in the air.
And oh my goodness!
And oh my goodness, they even throw all the sprinklers up in the air. Woo!
This was the party!
This is a party! Woo! Yay! And the DJ totally loses it. And he throws his microphone up in the air. And he throws his discs up in the air. And he throws the records up in the air. And he throws the record machine up in the air. Woo! He starts going wild and throws his cap up in the air.
And oh my goodness!
And oh my goodness, he even threw his speakers up in the air. Woo! Yay!
And the cops throws a oh my goodness!
And oh my goodness, the cop even threw their cars up in the air. Woo! The sirens are going, wee! Woo! Now it's a party! Yay!
And the U-Haul totally loses it. And public storage totally loses
And
it.
the U-Haul totally loses it. And the public storage totally loses it. Woo! And they throw their boxes up in the air. Woo! And they throw their peanuts up in the air. Woo! And they even throw their bubble wrap up in the air. Woo! Yay! Woo!
And oh my goodness!
And oh my goodness, they even throw their pickup trucks up in the air! Whoa, wow! Yay!
And oh my goodness!
And oh my goodness,
Your Home Depot and Lowe's.
your Home
totally
Depot
loses it.
and Lowe's totally loses it! And they throw their ladders up in the air! And they throw their levels up in the air! And they throw their saws up in the air! And they throw their drills up in the air!
And they throw their buckets up in the air.
And they throw their blue and orange buckets up in the air. And they throw their hammers up in the air. And they throw their sanding blocks up in the air.
And oh my goodness!
And oh my goodness, they throw their
A polyclass type kidnapping.
table saw up in the air. Woo!
Pulled together in a search for 12-year-old Polly Class. They are now coping with the
And then the mayor?
her body over the weekend.
Polyclass was the kidnapping.
Oh my goodness!
And oh my goodness,
They even hairdresser throws a
that even hairdresser even throws up clippers up in the air. Ah! And she even throws the chair up in the air. Woo! Yay!
and the ASPCA totally loses it.
And the ASPCA totally loses it. And they throw their dog catching nets up in the air. And they throw their cat crates up in the air. And they throw the doggy bones up in the air. And they throw the catnip up in the air. Woo! And oh my goodness, they released all the pets from the truck and they're running everywhere.
And the candy candy boys and candy girls totally loses it.
And the candy girls and candy boys totally loses it. And they throw their
Candies up in the
candies up in the air, including candy canes, jelly beans, gummy
Rolos.
bears, Rolos, gumdrops, Whoppers, Twix, Kit Kats,
And oh my goodness!
and oh my goodness! They even throw all their cookies and creams up in the air!
And her gumball machine.
And the entire gumball machine up in the air! Woo!
And the 90s and 80s totally loses it.
And the 90s and 80s totally loses it!
And they throw their boombox.
And they throw their boombox up in the air! And they throw their Jerry curls up in the air! And they throw their caps up in the air! And they throw their sneakers up in the air! And they throw their buttons up in the air!
And they throw their Tamagotchi up in the air.
They throw their Tamagotchis up in the air! Whoa!
And oh my goodness!
And oh my goodness! They even threw their skateboards up in the air!
And oh my goodness!
And
They
oh my
even
goodness.
throw an entire radio up in the air.
And oh my goodness! They even throw their entire radio up in the air! Woo! And they start to break dance and boogie down and do windmills on the floor and spin around and do flips. Woo! And break dancing. Woo!
And oh my goodness!
And oh my goodness!
And the 70s and 60s and 50s totally loses it.
And the 70s and 60s and 50s totally loses it. And they throw
We knew that three girls
There.
were home alone. We knew that the parents were
bow ties up in the air.
And they throw
their-
and oh my goodness!
And oh my goodness!
They even throw a juke.
And oh my goodness! They even throw a jukebox up in the air. Woo! Woohoo! And there's music and records everywhere.
And oh my
And oh my goodness!
they even throw a van.
They even throw a
Van.
van up in the air! Woo! It looks like the Scooby-Doo band! Yay!
16, and she was extremely bright. She was very articulate.
And oh my. And the Rolling 20s totally loses it.
And the Rolling 20s totally lose it. And they throw their saxophones up in the air. And they throw their trumpets up in the air. And they throw their drums up in the air. And they throw their suits up in the air.
And they throw their caps up in the air.
And they throw their
cigarettes
caps up in the air. And they throw their cigarettes up in the air.
And oh my
And
freaking
oh
goodness.
my freaking goodness!
They even throw a brick.
They even throw records up in the air. Woo! And a Victrola. Woo!
And the mayor said,
And the mayor said, "Wow, what a show!"
and Maddie totally loses it.
And Maddie totally loses it. And she's up jumping up and down. And then it tells her to control herself, and she cannot contain her excitement. Woo! And she's taking videos and dancing and jumping and screaming. Wow!
Looking for and the kind of help that we needed.
Cream.
Eventually, when we reached to a point where it was just nothing but like grass and just empty roads, he started driving in a field. He said to me, "I'm gonna find an empty house
Let me hear you shout.
and leave you there."
What
Let
a
me hear you shout.
what a show.
What a show!
And I wanted to ask you,
Turned my head to the
and
right
they
and
throw
saw
their
a house.
videotapes up in the air.
Okay.
And they throw their DVDs and VHS. And oh my goodness.
And they don't. All right,
And when we hit the ground,
And they throw their VHS up in the air. And they throw their DVDs up in the air. And they throw their cassettes up in the air. And they throw their CDs up in the air. And they throw their records up in the air. And oh my goodness, they even throw their record players and pianos up in the air. Woo!
And I wanted to ask everyone.
And I wanted to ask everyone,
Everyone in the world.
everyone in the world from all of the nations,
Let me hear you shout.
let me hear you shout if you're having a great time. Woo! Yay!
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and dogs and the cats.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls,
Let's
and dogs
get
and
ready
cats,
to catch.
let's get ready to catch me, the mayor.
That's me.
That's me. Woo! And the crowd goes running towards the mayor.
And whole crowd starts running, and Maddie starts running.
And the whole
Nan
crowd
starts running.
Maddie starts running.
And John starts running, and Mom looks at the mayor.
And John starts running, Nan starts running, and Mom looks at the mayor.
And the mayor is about to fall down. And there she is.
And the mayor is about to fall down, and there she is. And the mayor flips off the stage, and the crowd catches him.
And he sees the whole sea of people.
And he lands in a sea of people. And the mayor loses it. And he starts to scream and shout, yay! Woo! Yay! And the crowd is carrying him away and saying, Mayor! 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 Woo!
after the sketch is completed, I asked
And then the mayor starts to
scale of 1 to 10.
crazy wilder.
And the
Swing it wide. With your whole crowd starts to dance.
And the whole crowd starts to dance with the mayor, and they're following the
The
mayor.
crazy holiday. Crazy holiday.
What? The crazy holiday moves from the mayor. Woo! Yay! Yay! Woo!
Well, I think everyone was shocked. This doesn't happen every day. It doesn't even happen in major.
And the mayor starts to dance with those movements.
And the mayor starts to dance with those groovy movements. Woo! And the crowd starts following along and doing the same groovy movements. Yay! Woo!
Wanted to get her home.
Mayor! 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 What groovy moves you
I
have!
think you're
Woo!
always giving people encouragement. You're praying with them, and then you're just there. You're just
Then the
an
crowd
arm
carries the
around
mayor
their
to the
shoulder
stage.
to know, hey, it's gonna
And
be
the
all right.
kids caught the mayor.
And the kids caught the mayor!
Wow, the whole crowd was a blast.
And the whole crowd is having a blast! Woo!
If you thought it was going to be all right, it'd just rip your heart out. Bill was at our side.
Woo! Woo!
And the kids is starting to having a blast.
And the
With your
kids
crazy
are
holiday.
having a blast with the crazy holiday, and they're shouting, yay! Mayor! Mayor! Mayor!
Somebody actually called up and said,
And then
everybody
and the Rolling 20s caught the mayor.
And the Rolling 20s caught the mayor! Yay! And they all start doing their jazz moves together. And the mayor follows along. Woo! Yay!
Oh my God. Where's Katie?
He's starting to.
And he's starting to.
Want that, man?
And she's starting to.
They're starting to.
Salsa dancing.
Doing salsa dancing. Woo!
And while whole crowd was a blast.
And the whole crowd was having a blast. Woo! Yay! Bravo! Yay! the whole crowd carries the mayor back to
And the whole giant crowd starts to dance.
And the
It was a
whole
blast.
giant crowd starts to dance. And they're all having a blast. And they're boogie down to all the different kinds of music. Woo! And even the mayor is losing his mind. Yay!
And she listens to 101.11 more FM.
And they listen to 101.1 more FM. Woo! Best music! Yay!
And she's starting to raise sounds.
And they start to.
And Nan tells you, oh my goodness.
And Nan tells you, oh my goodness! This is so much fun!
And wow.
And wow-wee!
The craziest giant sparkling in the sky stops. And where John was saying, that was awesome.
And the giant sparkling in the sky stops. And when John was saying, that was awesome.
Yeah.
And Nan says, yeah!
You hear
Wow.
everybody clapping.
And you hear everybody clapping. Yay! Woo! Best fireworks show ever! Yay! We did the fireworks show. Yeah, and it was so much fun. I get to.
Walked around for a long time.
And
without my
then-
hand.
And then
Nan starts to laugh.
Nan starts to laugh. Ha 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 ha!
And Maddie was took a bow. And the whole
Maddie
everyone
took a
carries
bow.
the mayor and brings her back on the stage.
And
especially
everybody
the louder.
grabs the mayor and brings him back on the stage.
And the mayor said-
flips off the crowd and onto the stage and
It's-
says,
Check 1, 2, 3.
check, 1, 2, 3, check,
Louder.
1, 2, 3.
Whoa!
Whoa! What a,
Holiday.
what a
Crazy holiday.
crazy holiday! Did you all have a blast?
Everyone said.
And everyone
Let me
said,
hear you shout.
let me hear you shout,
Yeah.
crowd! Yay! Woo!
It's definitely a way to keep myself alive.
Thank you all for
Catching me.
catching me, the mayor.
That's me.
That's me. And for boogieing down with me. And for joining me in this
Crazy
wonderful, wacky, crazy holiday. Woo! I hope to see you all here next year.
We'll be there.
We'll be there, Mayor. Yay! And the mayor said, woo! And the mayor took a bow. Yay! Then Maddie, the whole crowd starts walking to the cars. And then Maddie tells you,
And Nan tells you,
and then tells
look
you,
her Maddie's bowing.
look how Maddie's bowing.
No, Maddie.
Pond.
Go, Maddie! Yay! Thank you for having so much fun and going wild! Yay! And they all get into the car and Maddie tells you, what's all this traffic?
And Mom tells you,
And Mom tells you,
thank you for getting wild.
thank you for getting
With this crazy
wild
holiday.
with this crazy
And thank you
holiday.
for catch the mayor.
And thank you for catching the mayor.
Looks like me when I was young. Ooh, that's
And then,
weird.
what's wrong with this traffic?
What's wrong with all this
And all of us
traffic?
tells you,
And all of
especially
us
the
tell
higher.
you, especially the higher, it's because everybody's
Louder.
trying to go home at the same time.
I and another detective go out to the sheriff's office and walk.
And then starts to drive.
And then we start to drive
Part of me wanted to be him because we wanted
We
to
go
find him.
home.
and go home.
And the other part of me was worried that if we found him, Will was killed.
And Maddie tells, the cop tells you, stop.
Stop here. We gotta let all the traffic through.
Kidnapped and murdered.
And then we're stuck in traffic again.
Because we're all trying to leave at the same
Because
time.
we're all trying to leave at the same time.
To go.
To go home.
But the facial features
And then,
And
as we
then,
get there
when we
to
get
the house,
at the house,
we're home.
the search was
and John tells us we're home.
I remember hearing dogs sniffing right right above us.
And then when Maddie starts to texting her message,
And then when
he
Maddie started
changed her
texting her
nightgown.
message, and she changed to her nightgown,
Our heads were in, almost just our nose and our eyes were above.
And Mom tells you,
and Mom tells
thank you for getting wild
thank you for getting wild, Maddie,
and catching the mayor and dancing to the
and catching the mayor,
and dancing for the crazy holiday.
and dancing for the crazy holiday.
You did a wonderful job.
You did a wonderful job.
And then
And then
And I started crying.
Mom gives
I lost
Thingy.
hope.
do you remember when we flips off the stage?
Do you remember when he flipped off the stage? That was so cool. And Maddie did
One man or everyone.
one man or everyone.
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 Search at night. We knew we were taking a risk, but it would have been pretty difficult to find him, you know, in the black of night.
Hello.
I was scared how this was going to turn out. I had a clipboard and I had a picture of Katie on that clipboard. You know, I just